The Parsha Vayeira, we get fully introduced to Avrohom Avinu in terms of his perspective, the essence of his life. And again, whenever I see Avos similar bonim, we have to, sort of really learn to take those lessons to heart about who our Avos were and what their virtues were, and how we have to aspire to emulate them. And certainly at the very beginning, just the notion, the concept of what the Gemara says, just to stop and to sort of think about what the implications are of the fact that here Avrohom Avinu is recuperating from his bris milah, 99 years old. V'yoshev Pesach ol gechol mayim. Okay, and we know the Rashi tells us that it was made hot specially for that purpose, so that he could relax and not have any people bother him. But that gufa was more troublesome to him than being able to relax. That made him even more agitated. I need people to reach out to, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought these three angels who appeared like Arabs. Incredibly, Avrohom Avinu, the effort that he expended, the dedication that he did for each and every one of them. Every act is something that's so significant, but maybe more globally, and the way he did it, of course, the ruts, the running, the concern, all these are tremendous lessons, and all of these, even, separate actions could be so carefully analyzed to see the amount of dedication one has to have and manifest in doing chesed. But more globally, the fact that the Gemara says that we see that here HaKadosh Baruch Hu is visiting Avrohom Avinu, and these three Arabs come down the road, and what happens? Okay, and he runs over to them and he starts talking. Well, wait a minute. What do you mean? What are you running over to them for? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is visiting him. So you can imagine this moment where you're being visited by HaKadosh Baruch Hu from Avrohom Avinu's vantage point, where his whole life is about becoming close and being mizdabe, clinging on an intimate level with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, being so close to him. And here he comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu manifests that closeness, and he's there to connect to him, and to in some way, however you want to couch it. But he was being this is the source for Bikur Cholim in the Torah. In Halacha, Bikur Cholim is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He visits the sick. He visited Avrohom Avinu. So you get visited by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you run away and you say, "Excuse me," because three Arabs are coming down the road and you need to visit them. I mean, what? You'd say, if you wouldn't know anybody, you'd say it's chutzpah. You'd say, what is happening here? How's Avrohom Avinu have the gumption to go ahead and leave HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And maybe even more fundamentally, how did Avrohom Avinu know this? Yeah, what gave him the insight to be able to even feel he can get away with it? Not only can he get away with it, he actually is praised. Says the Gemara says we learn from here. Godol says incredible words. Right? So you have to wonder sometimes if you took that directly straight to halach, you'd say if you're Milushman Esrei, somebody's knocking on your door. I don't think it's what we do nowadays, but you're being Mikal Pnei Shechina, you're davening in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, somebody's knocking on your door. The halach is saying that it's greater to take care of the people knocking on your door if they're coming, to visit. So leaving the halach l'maisa on the side right now, but the fundamental concept seems almost radical, almost mind-boggling. So what exactly? What did Avrohom Avinu see, or how did he know that this is the way you're supposed to conduct yourself? If you'd be looking at this, you'd say it's chutzpah. You'd say, how does he do this? How does he leave HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the side? So the answer seems to be pretty basically, pretty maybe even obviously, that when you look at our our purpose, and this is who Avram was. Avram Avinu was not somebody who, sort of was told what to do. He was somebody who figured out what to do. He's somebody who analyzed the world and analyzed HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the more he analyzed HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the more he came to realize what is his purpose in this world. Why is he here? And why did God put us here? And so not only did he come to the recognition that there's a monotheistic being that is the source of all occurrences and all power and all beauty in the world, all comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which clearly that went against the grain of all of society at his time. But he also then went to the next step. So, and what kind of God created this world, and what does God want from us based on the fact that He created this world? And he recognized and realized that our job is to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made Himself aware, enough of Him aware to us, and He manifested those aspects of Him to us so that we will understand why we're put here. And therefore, Avram Avinu understood and calculated my whole essence and why HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us in this world is to do the Ratzon Hashem. And Ratzon Hashem means Mahu Rachum Afat Rachum. He wants us to be like Him. He's perfection, and we have to emulate that perfection as much as possible. So, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu's essence is Olam Chesed Yibana, the foundational principle of the world is Chesed. Okay, that's everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu does 24/7 is Chesed. He infuses the world constantly with kindness and sustaining it, and giving it life. So that's total Chesed. So my job is to do that. So as a result, it became a no-brainer, because it's beautiful to cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but that's sort of almost like icing on the cake. That's almost a reward that we get, right? What does the Mesilas Yesharim say? When, the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us here is that we can earn the reward so that we can mizdabek with Hashem in the Olam HaEmes, in the next world. But in this world, it's a beautiful thing, but you got to earn the points. You got to get going with what's necessary to get to the reward of the next world. And that really is doing the mitzvahs, and that really is being mizdabek and clinging and emulating HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Kula Yemes, so that's my job. And it was emes of a deeper level. It was chesed on a deeper level. Again, it is chesed, and it's chesed with the fundamental concept of, through this chesed, I'm going to, uplift the people around me and bring them closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And that's why, again, you can argue the reason why. What's he feeling bad for? It's right. Rashi says he was mitzvah because he didn't have any. What did he be mitzvah? So learn some mishnayos or do something else. There's nothing else you can do. Avram Avinu, there's only one mitzvah in the world you can do. Of Achnosas Orchim, do something else. Why is he feeling bad about the absence of this mitzvah when there are other things he could have done to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And the answer is, there are other mitzvahs he could have done, certainly, but this notion of why he was in this world, and that we are here to bring others closer to Tachas Kanfi Hashchina, and to have this view of uplifting those around us, that is a concept that that dominates the thinking. That is the essence of why we're here. So we have many mitzvos, okay, but we know that the Torah was given to us at Tzarvus Abrios. They were given to us so that we, through the process of the mitzvos, become different people, greater people, and people who have a deeper and more beautiful view of the world, and are able to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu and become closer to Him through that emulation. So even though, yes, there are many other things to do, but nothing really would have fulfills what Avram Avinu perceived as his mandate of why he's in this world, then Achnosas Orchim. Because it wasn't just Achnosas Orchim. He obviously talked about belief, about monotheism, and then through that he brought people closer to Hashem. That's what the world's about. It's all about getting the world to recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kiddush Hashem, to bring people closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we see from here, it's an incredible thing. These are things that we could do. We have direct connection to this concept on a regular basis. We don't get visited by a Kadosh Baruch Hu when Chas v'Shalom was sick. That we don't have, but we do have that ability to devote our lives again, not necessarily through a career choice, but through the way we live our lives and how we look to uplift those around us, bringing people closer through discussions, through interactions. That is, when we do that, we are fulfilling why HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us in this world. As the Alter was asked by Reb David, what should my mandate be in going to America? At a time when people thought Reb David had a beautiful position in Europe, and he goes to America, 1923. What are you doing? Midbar Shvama. So he asked the Alter, what should my mandate be in going to America? He says, he's quoted a pasuk in the Navi, L'hachus leiv nidkoim. Like be a ruach shvalim. Your goal is to bring people up, uplift them, bring people closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And you see downtrodden people, lift them up, put a smile on their face, and bring them closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu. So Baruch Hashem, we certainly have that ability. We have the people around us that we can do that with, and in doing so, there will be nothing more significant that we can do in becoming closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu.